Well, you can always find time for what interests you.
Okay.
My father, may so rest in peace, was a very strong social personality in Lagos. In fact, he, at a point, he was the chairman of Lagos Island Club. At the time, he was the uh, vice chairman in Yoruba Tennis Club. And the year he was to become the chairman, he passed on. So he left that position. Um, and he was also a very active member of the Metropolitan Club. So, following his footsteps, I more or less joined that Island Club, became part of the house there, and up till today, well, of course, I'm a life member now,
Okay.
because once you are 70, you become a life member. What that means is that you don't pay subscriptions anymore. And uh, I played quite a substantial role there. And then later on, I became a very active member in Yoruba Tennis Club. I became general secretary, chairman, and I'm now a trustee of the club. I'm also a member of Metropolitan Club. I don't, I'm not very regular there because I see that the activities are limited to only one day in a week. And it is at a time when it is not very convenient for me, like the Tuesday lunch, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., bad time to face the traffic coming back to Ikeja. I'm also a member of the Lagos Country Club. Though I disappeared from the scene for a while, but my very good friend and brother, Are Oyefeso, he insisted that he would not let me go and that I must come back and start. So I'm involved there too. I find time. It's not that you spend all your time. Maybe once or twice a week you find time to touch base here and there. Like if I, but right now I'm most active in Yoruba Tennis Club. To be fair, I still go to Island Club occasionally. Uh, Metropolitan Club, I go when there are occasions like Christmas, Easter, like we're going to have um, the Valentine dinner on Friday, and here also the Lagos uh, Country Club. I also attend when there are ceremonies, Christmas party, and so on, anniversaries and things like that. I'm also a member of Eco Club. I didn't remember that quickly because I hardly go there. I'm a member too. My social life is very complicated, but I enjoy it.
As an elder statesman, sir, who has been part of efforts to move the country forward and all of that, how do you feel seeing Nigeria still at the point at which where most of the things you fought for, either in the medical profession or in the society, are still the same as they were years ago? How does all of this make you feel? Even our politics.
Yes. Well, that is unfortunate because the Nigeria that I ran back to 1974, a week after my name was announced as a member of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. It's a Nigeria that was full of hope, and we were very determined that we must come and make our contributions to make that place grow and grow very well. But then the country, let's face it, it's disjointed. There were times when you feel that, okay, let us set up this program and so on and so forth. And you can convince the people, Western region, Eastern region at that time, there were, no, all the states were not existing then. And we had doctors, specialists. When we looked at the mortality rate in the country, and we thought, let us start doing some voluntary work. Maybe during our holidays, let us go to Kaduna or go to, Kano, see what problems they have and help. And we're told to go and sort our own problems and leave them alone. And they preferred to work with Egyptians and people like that who had no stake. I mean, they've only come here believing that they've just come to help you wretched people. And the attitude showed in all that they did, because the rate continued to, the gap, the distance continued to increase. I mean, many more people are dying there. We are managing to save many more here. And let us spread this over there. We were told to go and mind our business. And we tried to mind our business. The problem is still there today. When you talk, but you see, the unfortunate thing is that when they're quoting the mortality rate for Nigeria, the figure is so bad that you feel ashamed when you go to these international conferences. But the truth is that if you separate the North from the South, the figures that we have in the South here, it's reasonable for an African country. But when you mix it up with what happens over there, then our average drops drastically. We need to really open doors if we're going to continue to exist as a nation, for ourselves, to help ourselves, so that we can move the nation forward. The general aspects of politics and the moving forward of the country is not something that one can really, discuss. Of course, there are too many problems. Right now, the problem of insecurity is damaging this country. And everybody has been talking about it. But you and I are helpless. There is nothing we can do. I'm not the Inspector General of Police. I'm not the Director of DSS or whatever. And we are not. Even you can see the sadness, in the Senate. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, when they came with an outburst, frustration has started creeping in, that we cannot continue to run this country like this. One of them was saying that even him, that he cannot go to his village because he's afraid that he'll be killed before he gets there. That's a senator. And so you just wonder, what is this? How can we solve this problem? The only way to solve the government is direct and serious government intervention. And if the government can decide on the will to get involved, that we've had enough. But what I see now, I honestly, I must tell you, I'm not very happy, because I don't think we're doing our best. I don't think we're doing our best. We just hope that, things don't deteriorate any further.
So, as somebody who is an expert in gynecology and obstetrics, what do you make of the rise in the infertility problem facing the country? I mean, there's so many people complaining and all of that. How do you see this?
Well, I would like to just correct a small impression. I don't think the rate of infertility amongst couples, I don't think the rate is increasing.
Okay.
I think people are beginning to talk more about it.
Okay.
So people are getting more aware. The truth is that, particularly on the female side, I think there are some moral issues here.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And when the way we live, the way we relate with each other, and the way we relate with each other it is quite clear that there is something wrong because there is a high increase in the rate of reporting of sexually transmitted diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is a very high rate. And these, sexually transmitted, infections, they have consequences. They disturb the womb, they disturb the tubes, they can disturb the ovaries as well, and it becomes, it can create an infertile situation for the woman if you start having recurrent infections as a result of uncontrolled sexual relationship, unprotected sexual relationship, and poor hygiene in keeping yourself clean. And the man, of course, the fact that the most men in the let us leave genetic factors alone. Most men that are in their maybe late teens or early 20s, they play around from one prostitute home to the other, and all they pick from there is one disease or the other that will kill the sperm production. And some of them are treatable, but some of them, the treatment does not provide, absolute cure. But of course, taking it further, this period, there are lots and lots of ways and means of bypassing, the control of nature to do it in the test tubes and do it in the laboratory to make sure that the lady can get pregnant if so many things are done. But these are very expensive, and the ordinary person, the ordinary couple who may not be able to afford it. And it's not something that the government can afford to do for free.
Okay. So what advice do you normally give young couples who come to you to either complain or ask for advice in terms of what they can do to get pregnant? Let me put it that way.
Well, I think probably I would just rephrase the question by saying, what do I do for couples that come to complain that they want to have a baby?
Okay.
Yes. All right. Well, the normal traditional way is if they have not lived together, having regular unprotected sexual intercourse for about 12 months to 18 months.
Okay.
You just tell them to keep trying and guide them as regards what to do, the best time to have sexual intercourse, when you expect ovulation to occur, and all that kind, of advice. And then we also advise the man to keep still and stop wasting his sperm in the streets of Lagos or wherever. And the basic examination is just a reassurance. But if after 18 months or somebody comes after 2-3 years of marriage and having a regular sexual relationship and there's no pregnancy, then one can embark on the baseline investigations.
Okay.
Like you want to check the womb, check the tubes, check that she's ovulating, check the man's sperm, so that he has enough quantity and quality, of sperm cells which can fertilize the woman's eggs. And if there are problems, you correct them, if they are correctable.
Then, sir, I was going to ask, are there any regrets if you look back at your career, your life? Are there things you would do differently if you are given a chance to?
None. I said none because even when my mom sent me to Djibouti and I was very unhappy and everything, when I look back after leaving the school, I thought, well, thank this woman for her decision, though it was a very sad thing then. It became like a point of joy for me. Maybe if I had gone to school in Lagos, I probably wouldn't have been able to achieve so much, I would have concentrated more on social life, and I would have gone on more with my football and boxing, and they probably would have knocked off my head or something. Uh, but the I enjoyed the practice of medicine. If I have to live again, I will do it again and again and again, because it was very fulfilling, particularly when the Almighty blesses you to the point that you just see this, you go into the theater, you perform all the surgeries, you take the woman there, she comes alive, out alive with the baby, and so on and so forth. And you just feel this is, it's not, cannot be you. I mean, God is doing all this for you. I don't think, I've had a very good life as far as I'm concerned, and I just hope, and I've enjoyed very good health too. I've never had opportunity, touch wood. I've never had any incidents that I've had to sleep in the hospital for anything. So I'm happy. Maybe I would have loved to be a journalist.
So what sort of a person is Chief Finney? I know you're a people person, and I'm just wondering, how do you enjoy that? Because I know that in your active days at the hospital, people are always coming to see you. You're always from one person to another, and I wonder how you cope with the huge number of people who come to consult you for different things.
You see, this is what I said at the point that you must learn to be simple and humble. I think from the quality of what we were able to do, by His grace, it became, one thing about medicine is that if you do well, you have a good practice, and you're succeeding in what you're doing, people will recognize you, and you become a people's doctor. But you see, the problem that we have sometimes is that most of our people, they are too much interested in getting money out of medicine. It's difficult to make money out of medicine, but money can come to you through medicine. You know, I I cannot say I'm a rich man, but I can say that I'm not poor. And I can also say that I'm contented. I'm contented. I live a simple life. I don't push myself beyond. I don't look at other people to say, okay, but I was more brilliant than this guy when we were in school, and he's a billionaire, he's a trillionaire, whatever. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I'm happy. I feel fulfilled. And to the glory of God, my children have been doing very well, and I'm happy with them and satisfied. So that's it.